Hey YouTube, this is Rack City. I'm James.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nikki.
And this is Reactcast Podcast, episode 3 of season 3.
Oh.
3.
Wow.
So we actually have an interesting fun fact because usually we do fun facts of things that we're watching. And I know it's weird. This is a fun fact about The Promised Neverland.
Oh, that's so random.
Weird.
Where would we have
Didn't see that
that?
coming.
Because we are watching Promised Neverland right now, and it's 2 weeks ahead up on Patreon. I think by the time you guys are seeing this, the first episode should be up, but by the time this is public, 2 episodes will be up on Patreon. Yeah, that's just something new we wanted to try doing, because we wanted to give something more to the patrons, and that is it. We wanted to pick Promised Neverland because it did so well in last poll.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the fun fact for this week has to do with it. The origin for Emma's name was a bit of a puzzle. There was a mini game that was on a website, and if you got a high enough score, you were granted to look at 2 exclusive manga panels. Revealed Isabel named her because she thought she was cute, likable, cool, and simple, which are her archetype traits.
Oh.
Which you saw in like episode 1 and 2. So
Interesting. Oh, so Isabel is the one who names them.
yes,
Oh, okay. Mama.
Mama is Isabel?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Yes, I learned a bunch of other little things about it. Inspiration for this manga, according to mangaka, was Assassination Classroom and Death Note. I can see Death Note.
Wow.
I can kind of see it with Ray. I get vibes from him.
I can
Yeah.
see the assassination classroom too. Yeah.
The creator also said when asked who he most empathizes with, he most empathizes with Ray. So, very curious to learn more about him.
Cynical and completely unemotional.
Speaking of which, I brought up after just randomly. Doesn't Ray like what I was making the thumbnail. Ray sounds like Killua.
Yeah.
He does.
I'm pretty sure it's the same voice
Same
actor.
voice actor, yeah.
Which is why I was wondering while I was watching the last reaction, I'm like, why does he remind me of Killua?
Yeah.
Killua is calm,
Yeah.
but he's not that calm.
No, when he was getting mad at Norman's reaction, his voice, especially when he goes, "Ah,"
Yeah.
the sounded just like him. Whenever, especially when he says "baka."
Yeah.
Yep. Same person.
Yeah, I can hear it, yeah.
Is a lady as well. Interesting.
Oh, wow. That's some skill.
And she was the voice actor for the original Kurapika back in the 1998 version.
Oh, interesting.
Oh wait, no, I mixed it up. I'm sorry. Norman's voice actor is the original Kurapika. in
Oh, so
1998
they're working together again.
Wow, that's some range.
I was gonna say it's a girl that acts for Killua's voice. Remember, I forget what show. I think it was A Silent Voice. We were watching. The little sister was you said the voice actor for her is a very famous person who acts like a boy sometimes. Was that the show?
No, I think that was what do you call it? Dororo.
Dororo.
Oh, yeah, Dororo.
Yes. Yeah, but I don't think it was her because that was an actual little girl.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the sister, not Dororo herself. The sister with Tahomaru, that group.
Oh, that girl. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, but yeah, I wanted to just bring up that she actually sounds like a woman. Like when she was talking, I was not confused that it was a boy or like. But I guess we found out later on in the show maybe that wasn't their intention to just trick us. But like this voice for Killua would be much more suitable to being like a boy pretending to be or a girl pretending to be a boy.
Would never be able to tell.
No, and then they would be able to switch the voice a little bit, and all of a sudden you can hear it. You know.
I get the feeling a lot of the time that even if they're supposed to be a character pretending to be a boy, they don't want them to sound too mannish, and so they get someone who still sounds quite feminine.
So you can tell. Okay. I guess because the voice isn't allowed to change too much.
I don't know. I just feel like maybe they want the audience to connect with that person as a female, especially with a male audience, and so they don't want them to sound too guy-side things to push them away.
Okay.
I'm guessing. I don't know. But I'm really lost. The sister of Dororo.
No. The sister.
I mean, Tahomaru's sister. Who's that?
No, Tahomaru's like the blood brothers.
Yes.
What the guys, the second
assistant
one,
people.
the archer one.
Okay.
Is the girl? Is the
Right.
sister.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah,
I forgot
yeah.
about her.
And they're trying to pretend she's a boy. What? But no.
I was not fooled.
Well, that concept that they want the even though we're pretending that they're not really because they want the audience to connect to them in a certain level. Because I think about like if you change a voice too much, like I would think the better route would be get someone who can sound like a male and then just let the voice vary, like change enough. But I guess that's not a good route because you think about like the show we're watching, Solo Leveling, when you have the voice change completely, like
Yeah, it was
possibly
weird.
a different person
I don't
entirely.
know why they did that.
Who knows?
It was the same guy.
Yeah,
the same person.
it's very jarring.
Within a year.
Yeah, it's very jarring. And like you can't really.
No.
It's still getting used to. That's not the same person.
Although, if you think about like Deku did a good job of that.
Yeah.
When Deku was like in the first season, his voice sounded more frail and more excited and more like high pitched. Now
true.
he sounds very serious.
Yeah.
Even though he's like only like 1 or 2 years old.
Yeah, so he sounds more mature.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also a believable amount of time and
Yeah.
events happen to the character that let you feel like this could have
Makes
happened over
sense.
time.
Yeah.
And you don't notice it.
That too, and also I just remembered we hear his adult voice in the first episode of the first season of him saying like, "This is how I became the number one hero," and it sounds like a different, like an older
Person.
him.
That's
It
true.
does.
That's true.
So Promised Neverland, we're 2 episodes in right now. Obviously, we like to usually wait for the 3-episode rule as we talked about. But given the format of this is every 2 weeks, what do you guys think of the first 2 episodes?
First 2 episodes, creepy, eerie. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
what's going on? Help me, help me.
Yeah, very well. It's good so far. Like I expected to be like, barely surviving, but I talked about it after the first episode. But the type of horror it is like horror, and I'm not usually a person who can like deal with horror. At least I haven't tried. I should say it's been years since I tried to watch anything that's been real horror. But this is not really bugging me. It's getting the emotional response that I think it wants, but it's not like messing with me.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Do you think it's that this show is doing a good job of it, or maybe you're getting used to, in general, these heightened emotions that shows give you?
That's a good
Because you've been
question.
at this for almost 3 years now. Not 3 years.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. If the show is not good at it, or I'm getting used
If
to
the
it,
show is just good at it, in a way that it's performing a good job of luring you into a sense of comfortability, or in general, you're just better at dealing with these heightened, scared emotions, and so you don't feel the terror you used to feel.
that's a good question. I'm thinking maybe I think the show seems to be pretty good. I don't feel like detached or like outside of. I don't feel like I'm stepping outside of my experience. Like I'm experiencing it. So I feel like the show is drawing me in. But I think maybe it's both, because at the same time I feel like more emotionally strong. Like I feel like I can handle it so far. But then again, we've only just started. And there's honestly, I feel like they're still setting up the problem, because we're still getting introduced to new problems.
Yeah.
So we're not quite in the thick of it yet. So I feel like I still have yet to see whether there's, the type of angst, if any, the show is going to be something I can handle. Like, is it going to be drama after drama after drama? Because so far it's been kind of dramatic.
Yeah. Similar feeling?
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like part of it is like the type of way that it's dramatic is like it's we have a really big problem, but like when the problem confronts us, it's like little kid version where like mama's like right next to you. It's like, I know what you did. It's like there's a feeling of terror, but also it's like, oh, like literally like mom just caught you doing something bad. It's kind
Except
of
for a monster around the corner.
yeah.
Kind of.
But at the same time, it's like it's still terrifying. Like you have both of those things dealing with, and one kind of makes it like more palatable. So when you put too much garlic in the pot, you just put some potatoes in there, it helps it out.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just thought of an interesting thing we could consider too. The type of horror is almost like I think that I consider like you try to make a goal, right? And you make a goal, if it's too big, it's almost too hard to grasp. And so it's like you're not attached to it.
Yeah.
But then if it's too small, it's the same problem.
Yeah.
But when it's just like the right amount of difficult, you feel stretched.
Yeah.
So think of that concept with like horror. So like the first episode was, to me, the type of horror that it was too far out for me to feel scared. So I just looked at it as like, oh, that's interesting. I was intrigued.
Yeah.
I wasn't terrified. I felt their terror because they're kids and they're experiencing this, And then the second episode, that was more relatable. Like I could feel like this little child, and you're about to get caught. Like, what do? You know, the hall, like he's walking and the hall is moving at a different speed. You know, that kind of zoom thing.
Yeah.
Like I kind of felt that one a little bit more. So it was more relatable horror, I guess. So it was more I could put myself in those shoes a little bit easier, so I could be scared.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't really feel like I don't feel like I'm with the characters in the scene. I'm scared for them.
Yeah.
Because I look at these things like the monsters and demons. I was like, okay, that's pretty scary. Run away from that. But I wasn't feeling afraid. What I felt afraid for was when they were back at the place and they were dealing with the mother staring at them, because I felt like these are small children.
Yeah.
If these were adults, no problem.
Yeah.
But because they're small children, I want them to be okay.
Yeah.
They're okay.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't feel afraid in the scene necessarily. But it still gets the job done, because I don't know if this kid can get away from this.
Yes.
You know?
You feel the peril for them, the type of peril they're experiencing.
I was looking around for some interviews for this mangaka. In a couple of interviews, I noticed he has a way of deflecting a lot of the questions that ask about interpretation. What does that mean? And stuff like that. And in general, he's really against interpretations and inserting his own thoughts into the world. Every time the interviewer would ask him stuff like that, he'd be like, I'd prefer it if the fans thought of that, just up to read and figure this out. Or there is no real world influence. That came back a lot. So I'm just going to take that at face value. He just wanted to make something scary. He's got a partnership going on where he does the storyboarding and there's another person in charge of all the illustrations. He just gives ideas of what people should look like, and the other person does that.
That's like a person who's attached to their characters. I mean, all the time, like people who read the stories and I'm like, that's not how Edward Cullen looks.
I'm actually curious, was there a lot of backlash when they saw the pictures of the people from Twilight?
Oh yeah. But everybody hated the first movie until everybody loved it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Even the fans? Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I was under the impression that the first movie was like a big hit with the fans, and that's why I kept going. But
Well, it became a hit with the fans after the non-fans liked it. And then the fans were like, okay, actually, let me tell you about Twilight, you know? And then this, because that's what happened with me. My friend educated me on Twilight after I watched the movies. Like, now you need to read the book. She literally took us to a bookstore and we had to buy the book.
oh, I thought you read the book and then the
No.
movie came out.
No, I watched the movie first. And then she
Oh.
took us to Target and we were like, you're gonna read it. And I had to buy the book with my money.
That's funny.
Even buy it for you. She's like, you're gonna buy this now.
But for the Neverland thing, when we this kind of interview makes me think that we're going to get a lot of open-ended questions. That we're going to see things
that's
and wonder,
true.
but what is that for? And I think back to the whole flower thing coming out of the girl's body in episode 1.
maybe
We already
we'll
said
never-
up to episode 2.
Maybe we'll never
Like,
see the answer.
Yeah, I think it's just it means death. Okay, but
why?
though?
Yeah, so that would mean for great discussions, because that's kind of what our discussions thrive on, our open-ended questions.
Yeah.
They're like, what does it mean?
And then all of the theories. My favorite part.
So we're gonna have some killer discussions coming up then. Well, and that also, unfortunately, I guess it'll also mean like our tinfoil hat theories might not all be answered.
But they can all be right in our hearts.
That is true. Like those tests and stuff. Like what? It looks like they're scanning barcodes.
Yeah.
So what on earth is happening here?
I think of it as like a real version of a Scantron. You know, the actual Scantrons are with the bubbles.
Oh,
You're supposed to put that through a machine, and the machine marks your grade. That's why they tell you, like, mark it in with a dark colored pencil because the machine, you know? So I think it's like just instead of like going through like that paper to a computer process, just go straight to the computer and just scan the answer. That's what I think it is.
That would make sense.
What I imagine is question, scan, A, B, C, D, and you scan the correct one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And I'm also curious what the nature of the questions are. Like, are these
Yeah,
all
we
math
didn't see
questions,
any of
world
them.
questions? They have a lot of books.
You know, something that occurred to me, and I never brought it up in the discussion because I forgot, was they use a lot of big words. Like, I forget what the last episode, I think it was Norman, said like a really long word in the most random place. Like, he didn't have to say that word. Like, it started with D. I can't remember what, like, I don't remember what it was now, but it was a random, like, it sounded like somebody speaking very formally would say that. I'm like, oh, that's right, because you're super smart. That's why you're using that word.
Because he is big brain.
Yeah.
Big forehead too.
But I just
Hopefully he'll
imagine,
grow up into that.
I really wonder, like, I wish somebody, you know, someone who speaks Japanese English could, like, tell us if they're using like very grown up
Proper
English,
language,
or English Japanese.
Yeah.
With the way that they talk about learning English or even learning kanji in Japan, it wouldn't surprise me if it's just spelling the tests, because that would be really hard.
Yeah,
to have
that's
these kids
true.
do stuff like that.
That's
Yeah.
true. And the other thing that occurred to me about like what they're learning, they know about a lot of normal things.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of the specific things, which I guess is good, so we don't give spoilers. But they were talking about like things they thought of that were outside and like the society and this and like
Giraffe.
Giraffe.
yeah, they know of certain concepts that you'd think they wouldn't want to teach them if they're trying to like keep them from thinking about the outside, but they're teaching about it, I guess, because they're selling them the dream that that's where they're going.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
they had the concept like of the ranch and farm and breeding and stuff like that.
Exactly, they understood that concept of a farm. So I was like, they understand a lot.
Very excited for this show.
Yeah.
And cautiously excited for season 2 because we've talked about it several
Yes,
times.
a lot of people.
were mad about season 2. I want to see if we can pick up on what they're mad at, or if it's just something where you had to have read the manga to understand why they're mad.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if they're so mad, it should be obvious. But if it has to do with the manga, maybe not.
I do remember it was specifically people who read the manga were like, this is not how it was supposed to go, like this is really different or something like that. But I wonder if that is for the better, because I do know that the way the manga ended, people weren't the happiest with it, because I think it felt really rushed.
I've heard pacing.
Yeah, people said it felt like the mangaka had like a deadline of like finish the whole story in 2 or 3 months.
So perhaps the fact that it got picked up as an anime was the mangaka is probably like, okay, we can do it right this time. But then that's not exactly what he had done in the manga, so everybody's mad. Perhaps
maybe.
that would be good news, because then that would mean we could probably have a more
Fleshed
betterer ending.
Yes.
Infinite possibility.
Yes, and then we can have like Attack on Titan and have a season 5, part 2, part 3, part 4.
I was about to say, the fact that the manga's done makes me feel like, oh, we can actually end this anime, but now you're thinking things I don't like.
Well, we don't. Season 2 of Promised Neverland came out a long time ago. I don't know if this is gonna get us. If this is gonna
At this point,
continue.
After, that's true, because after they didn't like it, maybe they're not too
Keen.
hopeful.
Yeah.
But you know what else is getting a part 1, part 2, part 3? Demon Slayer.
Oh!
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I'm just trying to segue to movies.
Okay. Movies. Yeah, the movies.
There actually are rumors, though, that the very final arc will be a trilogy.
Oh.
Very vague rumors, so, but it's a possibility.
Like a trilogy
Like, they
movie
talk-
or a 3-part season.
Trilogy of movies.
Truly of movies.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, they've been testing the whole movie into series thing, so I guess maybe they just enjoy, presenting Demon Slayer as a movie.
I think they enjoy
Over-
that money.
Yeah,
They
that
make
too.
so much money.
Makes so much money. Look at all the action figures you can get from all of them.
Honestly, yeah, they're basically Power Rangers.
Yeah, like every single different pose. Sorry, we don't acknowledge it.
Yeah, you can't actually see it.
Don't acknowledge
it.
I saw it. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, every single different pose, they can make a new one. And I've seen that. Like when I look up their characters to get pictures and stuff, I just see random action figures of different poses. And like,
Yeah.
is that necessary?
Yeah, well, that's the Japanese merchandising brain. Because, like, in America, we just have, like, posable figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, in Japan, we're like,
One solid.
one character. We can do 5 different poses
Yeah.
wearing the same exactly clothes and everything. Nothing else changes. It's brilliant.
It is real.
Collectibles. Do you have all 16 poses?
Consumerism.
But movie is coming out the 23rd of this month. I believe that we were planning on skipping that
Yes.
because the way they make it sound, they even say like the something training arc. I'm not going to say the full thing just in case you guys haven't heard about it. But it's something training arc. And it sounds like they're just going to do the same thing we did with the Mugen Train and they did with Swordsmith Village, which is exactly the same thing, just not shiny. Which
It's shiny
didn't-
enough.
It's
Yeah,
a pretty shiny show.
I preferred the TV version.
Yeah.
Because I like when they flesh things out. And when there's a movie, they have to cut things out. And sure, it looks better. Demon Slayer is already an amazing looking show.
Already great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a step up when you go from TV to movie, definitely, but it's good enough for I will just wait for the show, which it's believed to come out this spring, which is believed to be the second final arc.
Which means the series. Wait, the series or
The series.
Oh, the series is spring. Oh, I was gonna say if the movie's this spring, then the series is close behind. But
the second final arc is what you said?
Second to final arc. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
so
one more arc after this
sad.
arc and then it's done.
No, I want
I
more.
want all of the Demon Slayer forever.
I'm kind
At
of
the
glad
same
Sam-
time, at the same time, it seems like I feel like
We're
this
rushing
show,
there.
This show has made me trust it. Where I'm like, I can see you end, and I feel like I will be satisfied.
I agree that we'll be satisfied with the end. I love Demon Slayer. I enjoy it so much. Like even the crying parts, like I love this cry. It's a good cry.
It's a good cry right here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna miss it. Oh.
There's some scenes I every now and again go back to watch reaction mashups of just the really sad moments because it's just you can feel it like as if you're watching it for the first time again and see everybody reacts to it the same way. It's like
Yeah.
especially like the last season where we thought Nezuko was about to die.
Yes.
There was like 100 reactor mashup compilation.
Oh my gosh! How can you see the
Everyone-
faces?
You don't.
You just hear.
You hear the wails, the torment.
The weeping and the gnashing of teeth.
But I mean, yeah, so I think that's the final arc, and then, the second final arc, and then with the final one, maybe the year after that, we're going to get the trilogy of movies, or just regular TV show, which I prefer TV shows so we get long, fleshed out stuff, but if they
Yeah.
plan a trilogy for one arc, I guess they plan on also fleshing it out that way,
Yeah.
right? So it would be long.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm so
super
excited for
excited.
that. That's it's, whoa. Like Demon Slayer is one of the ones that I think it was one of the ones we launched the
Patreon.
I think we did do it with Patreon, but one of the ones we launched the channel with.
Was it that?
Demon
I
Slayer
think
was
it,
really
it was
early.
fairly early. Yeah, I remember it was the first popular show that we bawled. Like
Yes.
the first episode.
Yeah.
And I never forget that person who commented like, if you're crying after this,
Yeah.
just wait.
He was right.
Yes, he was indeed. Oh my gosh, yeah. But even so, sorry, I'm just thinking of Demon Slayer now. Demon Slayer's like pacing and everything, like when we first experienced it,
Yes.
everything was just so like, how are you this different and how are you doing it this fast? And I don't feel
Yes.
lost.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
feel like you should have done it slower for me to
Yeah.
like get the impact. No, everything was just good. The
There's
pacing
no
was
fat.
good.
No
This
fat.
this person is like a pro at pace. Amazing. Like this is like what YouTube would call retention god level. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
God level retention. Like you can just watch it for like just keep watching. I feel like for people who are coming later after all of it will be out, it's gonna be such a good like bingeable show. Like just sit and watch all the episodes.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, I liken it to, and it's the anime version of an action movie, where you go in, you sit down, it's very fast, it gets to the point, and it gives you a very good time. I've seen plenty of people complain about anime and its popularity, talking about how it's not really a top shelf, high quality anime, and I disagree in that. I'm trying to think of the best way to say it. I don't think it's trying to be Death Note. Where every single scene has to have a lot of pondering on it, and you have to think about the motivations of every single character. The character presents themselves; they are exactly what they presented themselves to
really
you,
are.
and they will not deviate.
Yeah.
If there is a deviation, they will have signaled it the first moment you met them that this is the problem and it needs to be solved, and you're gonna help me.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Yeah.
you know?
Very much.
It gets to it. It's not trying to be something it's not,
Yeah,
and it's very good at it.
it is.
Much like Tanjiro, the show is very straightforward.
Yeah, people complain about Tanjiro, and it's like, yeah, he isn't the most interesting protagonist, but I view it as he's literally the chosen one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be weird
Yeah.
and different.
Yeah.
There are some legit criticisms. I saw a video, I can't remember his name. The like ratio was crazy. I mean, dislike ratio was crazy, where a lot of people were complaining about his complaints, but I saw what he was saying, like the differences between the styles, the effectiveness on the demons. You don't really see how one style's better in any situation. They all kind of have the same moves that accomplish the same thing, they just look different with different elements. I could hear that, you know? The markings on the people, suddenly Water Hashira gets it. I get that. But past that, it's like, no, the show isn't trying to be a thought-provoking exercise. It's trying to be an action movie,
Yeah.
which is
True.
very good at.
It's wonderful at.
It's true, but at the same time, there is thinking. It's just
There is.
what I feel is they're not doing it in a deep way. But to me, there's things that we could think very deeply on,
Yes.
like which we have.
Yes.
You know, there are things that we can just rip apart and overthink to its core. Like I think about the last season episode where it's like the end of last season where something Muzan said that was like opening up a can of worms of like, what did he say? What does it mean? I don't want to bring it up even if you guys don't remember. I'll tell you later.
I remember.
But it was like, that was, to me, it was like, there's more under the surface here. And it made me think that there's more, like, that the author perhaps wants to, think, like, make us think about, but he's, like, focused on this other thing. Like, I'm focused on making it action-packed, pace. You just can't check all the boxes all the time, you know? So he had to sacrifice one thing, and perhaps it's making the show be more thought-provoking that has been sacrificed. And I was also going to say something about Tanjiro. It's funny that, yes, he's not the most angsty character. Mm-hmm. But I like that about him. I like how simple Tanjiro is. Mm-hmm. And like you said, he's the chosen one, so, you know, protagonist power, you know, plot armor and all that. But something about him being so simple-minded towards the demons and, like, the way he treats them, it all tracks to me. Like, everything they've told me about him and the way he acts, it all meshes together to me. Yeah. I haven't seen any deviation from his personality. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense, and that's him to me. And it's almost, I think about him and I compare him to, like, Itadori. Well, I love Itadori, but I always have this disconnect with Itadori. Mm-hmm. Maybe the last season has made it a little bit better, but and the more that he's done. But he just, something about him, I just don't feel his emotions as much, even when he is emotional. Mm-hmm. But Tanjiro somehow is different. Like, he's maybe seems just as simple-minded, but I feel his emotion. Yeah. I don't know if it's the art or his situation or what.
I think I can see what you're saying, but I don't know how to articulate it.
Yeah.
I think part of it might be like what I saw somebody do a video essay on like why you like or dislike characters. One of them might be like the fact that Tanjiro, whereas Itadori is not. Tanjiro is more of an active participant in whatever is happening. He finds his own driving force to walk forward, whereas Itadori is kind of being pulled along in this direction. Like, something happens and he has to respond. Whereas Tanjiro, something happens and he goes to it and then he does something else as well. And then but he also, the reason he's doing it is for his own goal and direction.
I think
that's true.
It.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Wow.
Because if you think about it...
Take all the credit.
And if you think about it, everyone is constantly trying to tell him how to handle the situations.
Yes.
And he always does it the way he wants to, where he's like, he either spares them or he lets them speak their piece, where everyone's like, just finish them off, or he kills them in a very gentle and caring way.
And when you think about Itadori, yeah, I was like, it's the right one. Yeah. Itadori, on the other hand, he seems to be like, he does like occasionally go into trouble, but it's like he was told, we gotta go do this. And then even though he does have he seems like he has his driving force, I want to save so and so. It almost feels like he's being pushed and pulled by situations, like you're saying. It doesn't feel like he's controlling anything. Maybe that's a very interesting concept. I wish. I want to watch that video, whatever that person was talking about.
I cannot find it anymore. It's been years since I watched that thing.
But that's a very interesting concept, that would make you connect with a character more.
Yeah.
I think their control.
It was something called like active characters versus passive characters or something like that. But yeah, I did notice that after I watched it, I was like, this is true. Like, there's like that. I think that's part of the reason why you can't stand slice of life, because like everything kind of happens to them, passive. And then they do something and they're like, okay, whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like I might have seen that video suggested. It was a fairly well-watched video, right?
At the time, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple other topics, but I want to get to Rose Rants because of the time, if you have one.
I kind of have a Rose Rant. So I've been watching this Turkish drama.
Yeah, I know.
She switched countries.
Yes. It's called Wild, or Yabani, or however you say it in Turkish. It's very fun. It's about, I was telling you about it a little bit, Nikki, that it's about this. It starts off, there's this, they're called street people, I guess. He's just a guy, a guy, he lives on the street, really poor.
Homeless.
and you know he has like his street people colony and stuff like that. But he's like basically king of the hill.
Okay.
There, but they're still poor, and he ends up helping this rich guy and his girlfriend. The rich guy is super drunk. He was not supposed to be driving, but he was driving because she can't drive. He ends up like going wild, taking off his clothes and everything, and he's like, just get him back in the car. And it's just like, I can't control him. So he knocks him out, punches him, knocks him out, puts him back in the car, drives the car back home because the girl, again, she can't drive. And that sets off a whole slew of things where it turns out that this rich guy's family happened to lose a son when he was like 5. He was kidnapped.
It's him.
It is him. Yes.
Okay.
But like, of course, things can't happen that simply. So nobody recognizes that it's him until the rich guy heckles the street people's family because he's arrogant and stuff, even though they were the ones who helped him get back home safely.
But they did punch him out, you know.
That's the whole reason he was mad. Yeah, he beat them up. He beat
up the street people.
All of them.
His house specifically, the main character's guy's house specifically. There's like 3 or 4 people in there with him. Mm-hmm. And one of them is an invalid. His legs don't work, so it makes him even more of an a-hole.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So yeah, main character guy, he gets super mad because you know this is like his roost he's protecting. So he sneaks into the house and he meets up with the rich guy. But like as he's walking through the house, he finds this room and he's like, hold on. That's the bunny I remember from my memories. And he's looking around. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this is my old room. What is going on?" But then the mother, who's never gotten over her son's disappearance, is like room. She's in there crying, being like, "Oh, my son." And then just like this random guy comes walking in. It's like, "What the heck is going on?" She gets scared. She grabs a knife, goes to attack him, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? Hold on." He's trying to talk to her for a second. Of course, she ends up getting stabbed.
She ends up getting stabbed
because a terrible wielder of stabbers.
Yes. And then like afterwards, she turns out to be okay, luckily. But she remembers because she finds his picture that he had on him because he got arrested. Obviously, his picture is the picture of him when he was younger. It's the only thing he has from when he was younger. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, is this my son?" So she gets a paternity test done. In the meantime, her husband sends up a group of thugs to beat this man up because
they stabbed his wife.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's saying like, "Wait, I'm your son." And he's like, "Stop like stirring up our old family trouble." So he's like super mad about it. Paternity test comes back. Of course, he's the long lost son.
The chosen one, yeah.
Yes, but the whole family hates him except for the parents. The parents are fine. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this is my son." The father feels really bad because he just like mugged his son
and his family.
Yeah, but the kids hate him because they think he just stabbed their mother.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and they don't totally believe that he's the son. They're like, he must have done something to the paternity test, even though his parents are doctors, so they should kind of know how this works.
You guys don't know medicine now that you have something. You lose brain cells.
Yes. But a whole slew of things happen after that.
Of course.
It's crazy.
Drama.
Like there's so much drama. Murders happening everywhere, left, right, and center. My gosh, it's incredible. I love it.
How many episodes?
So is it still going?
It is still going.
Okay.
I'm currently at episode 22. 22, I think, is it where I've
How many
left off.
total?
It's not done yet.
Oh, you mean it's
It's continuing, and I don't know. I have no what do you call it? Like semblance of how long Turkish dramas usually go. Like I can predict K-dramas.
Yeah.
I have no clue about this.
But they already like
We've been to prison like 3 times now. It's incredible.
She's freaking out.
Everyone's having an affair. Oh, not everybody. Just like one person having an affair, which is surprising. Yeah.
With everybody.
With everybody. No. It's great though. Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
It is really interesting, and it's not like gut-wrenching drama either, which is why I think I got so hooked on it. And I'm like, I just want to know what happens next. It's not like, oh my gosh, everything is being ruined, what are you doing, I have to see you resolve this. It's like, what the heck is going on? Let's see what happens next. Yeah, that kind of thing.
So do you find yourself laughing a lot of the time at this?
No, actually. Okay. I actually end up crying quite a bit.
Okay, so it's serious.
it's serious when it's serious, but it's just entertaining. It's just entertaining. I don't know if I can put an emotion on it. It's just fun.
You know what?
That's
I
good.
wonder if the culture difference is why you can do that. Because I wonder if like a Turkish person watching it would be more like, this is so heart-wrenching.
Oh, probably.
You know? Because you think
Somebody's crying every episode.
Because I think like the way American shows that are trying to be dramas hit is different from Japanese shows that are trying to be drama. And, you know, the way they hit is different.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like this is their version of drama. Like this is as much as the Turkish people can take of drama. So this is what they deliver. I just wonder.
Yeah.
Can I ask how you ended up watching a Turkish show?
Yeah.
Because you have so many Ks that you're trying to get through.
Yeah, I think it was like I was watching like one of those MVs where they put the music over like a pairing of these two characters.
Oh, yeah.
And then I ended up going down that rabbit hole because like, when I do that, I feel like I basically watch the whole thing. But then they did this, and I was like, this is really fascinating. I need to know more. Oh no, it was also I was doing that, and then I got onto like a show recapped. Movie recap.
Oh, and they
type
recapped it.
thing.
Okay.
They recapped this, and I was like, I'm hooked. And then I ended up finding the English subtitles and stuff, and it was great.
Wow.
And here I am now, waiting for the next episode to come out on Tuesdays, and then waiting for the translation.
Translation. That's what I was gonna say. Like, how long between when translations come out?
Time to learn Turkish.
It's time.
New language unlocked.
It's funny how just a couple of weeks ago I was complaining about the manga recaps where they stop halfway because the manga's not actually done, and I hate that. But it actually is kind of like a symbiotic relationship when they do the movie recaps of series that aren't done, because it forces the audience to go watch it.
it. Because and it'll also recruit new watchers. It's like, oh, cool recap. And then you just have a constant stream of watchers and then waiters.
Now, that's a guerrilla marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I also wanted to bring up how Mr. 9 Before 10 was talking about whether or not we start reacting to K-dramas, and I don't think we would.
No, I can't do it.
You would
I can't.
hang on that for way too long.
Yeah, I can't do it. I watched
You would
one.
wake up and wake me up in the middle of the night being like, why? Why did he do that?
No.
No.
I watched one. And I started it actually with, I think I started the Chinese one first. It was Boys
Over Flowers.
Boys Over Flowers. I watched the Chinese version first. Watched through the whole thing actually. Yeah. And no. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a lot of it.
You watched like the first, what they would consider the
arc.
first season.
Yeah, it's like the first. Yeah. But you know, all the hospital visits got to me. You know, and I was like, you know what? I heard that Korean shows are shorter, and also it's the original. So I'm gonna go watch the Korean one. Like I got through maybe the first half, and I just skipped to the end. And I was like, is that how this is going to end? No, thank you.
Oh, dare you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Boys
just
Over
couldn't.
Flowers is very controversial, actually.
I couldn't.
Controversial.
Yeah, because of the type of relationship where the main male lead is a jerk. He's awful.
So
He's
it's
terrible.
basically like an abusive relationship.
Pretty much.
But he's the OTP.
But
Yeah.
he's the OTP.
Yeah. And isn't there like another one there's two
Yeah.
people that like her?
Yeah, the guy she originally likes, who ends up eventually liking her.
Yes.
And then the guy who's bullying her, who ends up
with
eventually
her.
liking her.
Yeah.
Who ends up with her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who also breaks up with her. At some
multiple
point.
times.
Well, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a terrible. It's toxic.
That sounds awful.
Toxic.
Relationship.
It's a actually good word for that.
Toxic. Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. It was an interesting concept, but like love triangles and me don't mix.
Yeah.
I
So-
almost ended up watching the Indonesian version until
no.
it was one of those show recaps, and I was like, hold on, I know this storyline.
How many versions are there?
It's a very popular version
very,
of
very
storyline. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like English, like British show that's the same concept. It's very popular.
If the show ending is so controversial, I'm surprised
It's not
it's
the
still
ending.
that popular.
It's not an ending. It's the entire thing.
Yeah, their relationship in general.
Yeah, their relationship is bad.
The fact that they stay together.
So why is it so popular?
Because
Is it just well written?
Humans.
yeah. Well,
Because I feel like there's lots of stories where the bad guy wins.
No,
But
he's not a bad guy. He's just a jerk. He's just he's
that's what I kind of mean. Like they're not very. You wouldn't want that person to get with a girl, but they do.
It's the art. It's the trope. The trope is this is a rich guy and he has all that he could ever want except this girl. So basically, this girl likes the other guy who's his friend. Like, he's a group of them.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
called F4.
Yeah,
Fabulous Four.
The
basically.
Fabulous Four. Like, they're just sons of rich parents.
Yeah, one's the rich son of the mafia.
And she's of course the pauper child, right? She's not rich,
She's a
and of
scholarship
course
kid.
none of the moms don't want her to be with the son.
Yeah.
So it's just basically he has everything he wants and not the thing, that one thing he doesn't have, and she ends up liking something else close to him. Like, how dares? I'm gonna get her. That's all it is. So it's just playing up to human
she's
desires.
not like other girls.
Yes, it's a common trope.
She is Twilight.
She's Bella.
She's Bella.
This sounds awful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched it twice.
Did you just say it was like 100 episodes?
No. That's the Chinese version.
Okay.
Yeah, Chinese versions are always longer.
Oh, my bad. But, yeah, I mean, I do see some Korean like TV shows like what was that one that got huge? Squid Game. I thought about it for a moment, but that came and went.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're excluding Korean stuff necessarily. Just time, place, popularity. We happen to be available at the time. Lots of things.
And whether or not she can handle
Whether
it.
or not she can handle it is a huge one. And also K-dramas in general are very long. I don't know if we can commit that amount of time. And also the episodes themselves are very long, which takes way more editing time,
Yeah, they're
which takes
usually
away from
about
other
an
shows.
I just want to say, I'm excluding it.
She's excluded.
No, if something comes out that has a good reviews, that you guys, somebody would have to vet it for me. Like, I'm not, because I mean, even Korean movies, we've talked about this, like, they're just a different kettle of fish. So one of you guys would have to watch it for me to be like, I'd have to trust you, like, trusting you with my life. With the rest, like, for 2 weeks of my life, I'm trusting you.
Yeah, we're not playing. You think we're playing games over there? No. It can get bad.
No. And we're the ones who have to live with her. Constantly being like, but why did he do this?
You think we're being dramatic?
No. That's what she literally comes up and just starts the conversation that way.
Hey, what do you want for
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she'll blame us. She's like, you did this to me.
But yeah, I mean, we enjoy it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's it for this episode, though. We're going to do the extension. So, guys, thank you guys very much for being here. Guys, if you like your time here, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Remember, you can see the other podcast 2 weeks ahead, as well as Promise Neverland 2 weeks ahead with Patreon down below. Thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you in the city. Goodbye.
Bye.